I was walking down the street, feeling kind of neat, when the wind came out your butt and blew my wig off. Oh, it was a sight to see, my hair flying in the breeze, 'cause the wind came out your butt and blew my wig off. People started laughing, they couldn't believe their eyes, as my wig flew through the sky. Oh, what a surprise. I tried to catch it, but it slipped right through my hands, 'cause the wind came out your butt and now it's somewhere in the land. Oh, wind came out your butt and blew my wig off. Baby, you drive like shit. Did you see that car that you almost hit? I'd rather take the bus instead. Riding with you, I'm gonna end up dead. Don't ask me if I need a lift. Baby, you drive like shit. She just ran through, always stop. I ain't trying to get stopped by the cops. Baby, why the hell did I let you drive? It's a miracle that you're still alive. Don't ask me if I need a lift. Baby, you drive like shit. Whoa, 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 whoa. Look out, my girl is driving. Watch out, my girl drives like shit. Whoa, 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 whoa. My girl is driving. Watch out, my girl drives like shit. Man ain't over. Heard you think you're tough. Gotta let you know I will fuck you up. I whoop that ass, talking all that shit, spank that ass till you tap like a bitch. No, I ain't playing. I'm here to kick ass. Whoop that ass, it's time to punch face. I'm the one who brings you pain in the ring. I whoop that ass until the bell rings. Already know that I do not play. Throw a punch like I'm cutting down hay. I whoop that ass every single night. Spank that ass till they stop the fight. I'll tell you the story of a man, a radioactive tip in his hand. His hand grew 10 times its normal size to help him get his money on time. He knew if the bitch was telling a lie, which was 100% of the time. Superpowers to make a bitch listen, then get her naked with sex-ray vision. Beat a police station in a single bound, slapping bitches down to the fucking ground. His name was famous across the land. They called him the pimp named Superhand. Oh shit, yeah, the pimp named Superhand. He had powers no other pimp had. Oh fuck yeah, the pimp named Superhand. That motherfucker was super bad. Asking for dinner ain't asking for much. You had one job and still fucked it up. Sometimes you gotta learn respect. I use my pimp hand to correct. It's called a big slap, slap. Come get your face clapped. hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other. No, before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate? You should ask yourself, who taught you to hate being what God gave you?
Welcome back, YouTube fam. In the building one more evening. I'm your host, School for Justice, here where we live, love, and laugh, and conquer police brutality. And we are in North Carolina on tonight. We have an officer with a history, with a pattern that brutally attacks a young woman at McDonald's. So sit back, relax, get your wine, get your popcorn, get whatever you may need, and let's jump on this train ride.
There's no doubt that some of you have seen this video recently. This is Officer Jennifer Umflet.
Das Jennifer Umflet.
And I'm sure none of you are surprised learning that this isn't her first time becoming famous on the internet.
An arrest Monday at a Greenville McDonald's has caught the attention of thousands of people on Facebook.
Sergeant Jennifer Umflet of the Greenville Police has at least 6 interactions that are noteworthy that I've been able to find so far. But 2 certainly stand above the rest, one of which occurred in February of 2025.
The video on Facebook has been viewed over 340,000 times.
And it's actually difficult to tell which officer is the Jennifer in question.
A viral Facebook video of an arrest in Greenville sparking outrage from many people.
Just had me in shock, had everybody in shock inside there.
I just found out that if you have 2 cars on your car insurance, this is 100% what you should be doing. So I found this website and look at the difference. $159 a month. I thought this was the best price I could find. Don't even look anywhere else. This is
For real.
Police were called to a McDonald's in the early afternoon. The establishment made a trespassing complaint and wanted Anthony Drayton permanently banned from the property. At first, a single officer approached while he was seated in a booth. The first few times I saw this interaction, I thought the first officer was Jennifer, but many reports online claim that she is the second officer on scene.
The 2-minute video begins showing a police officer with a baton in one hand wrestling with Drayton at a booth.
Either one would be just as bad, as the first officer appears to walk up and immediately kick Anthony before wrestling with an otherwise compliant man with the baton out.
All right, y'all. So I'm gonna jump on in the content real quick. Now, we did see that from what we're hearing off the news report and the narrator here of the storyline, that this man here is supposedly bandit or has trespassing against his store. So it sounds like he's been kicked out before. There's a trespassing against him to not come back. And it looks like he did come back. So the police was called to get him for trespassing. So far, just follow me. That's where we're hearing the storyline is at, or this is what's going on. So as a compliant man, if he's trespassing, right, then now you have grounds to arrest. So instead of the officer arresting the compliant man here, we see an attack. That's what's going down. We're in North Carolina on tonight. So he just ran up in there. He got the baton out, the stick, and he's just beating on this man, just striking on him. We're covering the video footage right here, right now. Instead of doing his job and properly, simply arresting. So this is what we got going on, but we're going to fact check and see if there's grounds to arrest, if this man was actually or technically trespassing, or did he commit a crime, or was he banned from the premises? So let's just keep jumping on into the content. All right, share your thoughts, and I greatly appreciate you smashing that like button as you enter into the building.
When told to put his hands behind his back, Anthony stands up and puts his hands behind his head. As the officer grabs an arm to cuff him, she pushes him towards a table, but when he uses his free hand to catch himself, the officers use his movement that they caused as a reason to keep beating him.
Anyway, can't lock me up recording. It's okay, bro. It's okay, bro. Don't want me. I don't care. I'm trying to be famous too. I'm trying to get. It's Greenville, North Carolina. It's Greenville, North Carolina.
The reports I mentioned earlier claim that this second officer walking in now is Jennifer Umflet.
Oh, definition of mind his business.
All right, so the first officer has the billy club out, immediately using excessive force. Now, I don't care if a public establishment, a public restaurant calls the police on you. That does not mean immediate grounds for an arrest. So we're gonna find out for certain, for sure, if this man, again, has committed a crime or if he's trespassing, if he has been legally served to no longer come on the premises, then he's charged with trespassing. So if he has a trespass order, so we got to dig in a little bit deeper to find out for sure. But first thing first, right? Immediately he has the billy club out, which uses excessive force, which shows or is causing excessive force. The arrestee has no weapon. He's not harming anybody else physically. He's not attacking you as an officer or law enforcement authority, and he's not harming himself. So why do we have excessive force going on? Now the backup officer has been called, and this is the key point of the content or the video on today. It's really about her in particular and her patterns and her cycle and her history of constantly violating people's rights. That you're out here being exposed now and do not qualify to be on the force or the academy. So now they're just full-fledged attacking. And again, what was the grounds or reason for accessible force if the man had no weapon? If the man was doing no harm to himself or bodily harm to the police or others, then we know, according to the laws, they have zero right for excessive force. We're going to see the legal definition of the use of excessive force and when it's necessary or needed. All right, so let's continue to check out. And so now we got his goon, the backup officer, who's out here just unhinged, out of control, wilding out, violating people's rights with a history and a pattern. And she comes in and join in on the beat down. All right, so share your thoughts in the chat.
And shortly after her appearance on scene, it shows her repeatedly striking Anthony in the head with metal handcuffs while other officers attempt to restrain him.
All right, stop! Hey.
So at this point, the guy is being gang jumped. He's being attacked. There's 3 officers on him. So he may be being resistant, saying, I'm being jumped. I'm being violated. A crime is being committed towards me. When the officer we saw first say, put your hands behind your back, the man put his hands up in the air above his head to show he has no weapons. He's clear. He's harmless. You were supposed to handcuff him then, and read him his rights. But instead, we have a gang jump where they just jumped this dude right here in public on camera at McDonald's. All right. So now the arrestee or the suspect may be fighting back because I'm being attacked. And naturally, as my human instinct says, I'm going to defend myself to prevent you all from hurting me, harming me, or unaliving me. Right? So is this what we see, people? So share your thoughts. We can do commentary, do dialogue, and join in with me in the chat.
Oh shit.
What's up with that, people? I just told you, we got a mafia here. They're gangsters. You know, now you gang banging with a badge. You and your partners and your homies and your posse is gang jumping this dude. And you oops upside his head. You know, we just saw 3-4 times busting them all in his head. Instead of handcuff, you have the opportunity, the very first officer, people, had the opportunity to do his job correctly and just handcuff the man and arrest him. But this is not an arrest of correct policing. This is an attack. And then we got bystanders just sitting back witnessing it and watching. Right? We even heard the dude reaction that's recording it. That's going live with the camera in his hand. So let's continue to see what constitutional rights are distorted next.
Oh God. Who talking to me? I ain't doing that.
After that interaction, the Greenville Police Department did not dispute that an officer had struck Anthony in the head. Their position was that the publicly circulated recording omitted the beginning of the encounter, and that force was used because Drayton concealed one arm and repeatedly kicked the first officer.
Drayton concealed his right arm in front of him and repeatedly kicked the initial responding officer, prompting a secondary officer to strike him on the head.
When the first officer came by himself before backup got there, where did we see him kick the officer? If that happened, it was not caught on camera. We didn't see that on the footage. We saw the officer beating him down while he's sitting down at the table in McDonald's. And when they finally stand up, I guess the man gets the officer up off him without physically fighting back or using any physical force. The officer said, "Put your hands behind your back." And the man put his hands up in the air behind his head, or beside his head, rather. And there was no arrest taken. The officer never arrested him. He continued to physically attack. And now here come his goons and his crew. Here come his posse and the rest of the mafia, beating him down and they're telling lies. All right, so we see what's here on the news footage according to their story and their statement of what took place. But we always know, people, the body cam never lies.
Said.
But none of that is caught on camera, not from the bystander or from the CCTV in the McDonald's. Furthermore, Greenville's publicly available force policy treats striking someone in the head or neck with an impact weapon or other object as a deadly force level action. And with this many officers on scene, a skinny homeless man who may be passively resisting at most is certainly not deserving of deadly force. And of course, shortly before the recording ends, the handcuff holding officer, who's alleged to be Jennifer, has an arm around Anthony's neck.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
Both of the originating officers on this call were subsequently placed on administrative assignment, which means they were likely placed on desk duty while the department investigated. Anthony's mother claimed that her son had significant mental health and developmental challenges. She maintains that the first officer kicked her son and that he was blocking or defending himself. But the police...
So the question is, why was the police called on Anthony? Why are they there in the first place? That's the question, first thing first. But it sounds like he's homeless. He has mental health issues. is what's just been verified. But why was the police called on him? That's the question. Was he banded? Did he previously have a trespassing order to no longer come up there? Or was there some type of altercation or concern, the reason why McDonald's or the employees called the law on him? So that's the question. But even if there's a warrant, even if he committed a crime, right? This is an attack, people. This is not a proper legal arrest. This is criminals with the badge technically attacking an innocent man, because we know, according to our laws, even if you're charged with the crime, you are innocent until what? Proven guilty in the court of law. All right, so share your thoughts in the comment section, and I would be glad to continue to chat with you.
Chief disputes the claim that any of the officers kicked him. Anthony was charged with assaulting a government official or law enforcement officer and resisting, delaying, or obstructing. His warrants allege that he attempted to kick an officer in the groin and refused to provide information during the trespass investigation.
We see him with his hands behind his head the whole time, people. Do we not witness the hypocrisy of our constitutional, that we're supposed to be innocent and protected until proven guilty through evidence in the court of law? But they're treating us like we're, unhinged criminals on the loose. Do we not witness the hypocrisy of this nation, who never takes care of her own, but you got time for others? So it's double standards, people. It's a double standard to divide and conquer. We know this here at School for Justice. So we clearly see that it's false accusations, incorrect statements being made. In other words, the police is lying, but we have the receipts. We have the camera here, the evidence to prove what really took place and what happened that day at McDonald's in Greenville, North Carolina. And they're the criminals. They want to call us the criminals, but they are the ones violating and committing crimes according to our laws. All right? So share your thoughts. Glad to have you join in with me on tonight.
And we've all seen how those typically go. At trial in September of 2025, he was found not guilty of assaulting an officer, but guilty of resisting, delaying, or obstructing. He was sentenced to 10 days in jail, with credit for time served and no additional incarceration, and had to pay $200 in court costs. He filed an appeal on September 17th of 2025, which moved his resisting conviction to the Pitt County Superior Court for a new jury trial. It appears the resisting case is still pending, and that jury trial is anticipated later in 2026. As far as
why the case is still pending, people? Because this man doesn't have any money. According to his status in life, what they just said, he was homeless. Because he doesn't have any money. Money talks, and we know bullshit walks. And it's all about the almighty dollar. That's the other tactic and strategy that they use to attack us. And as the Muslims and Malcolm X used to say, get your hands out my pocket. So that's what's going on. I mean, it sounds like his mother is there to help him the best she can, according to the narrator. But money was a key factor in the big, plays a key factor in the whole scenario of him getting true justice. And so now he's exercising the appeal, and they want to, play over that. So what do you think? What do you see? According to our laws, we are in the state of North Carolina on this evening.
Body camera. The police chief claims that he's seen the body cam footage, and Anthony's defense team obtained it prior to his appeal, but the footage has not been publicly released. And because this happened in North Carolina, the body cam footage is subject to some of the most restrictive policies in the nation. It takes a court order to make it public. The Greenville police announced that an internal investigation was completed, but refused to disclose the result, citing North Carolina's personnel record restrictions. It's likely that if Anthony wins on appeal, that we'll see a lawsuit filed shortly after. Now this brings us to about a year later, on August 18th, at about 3:30 in the morning. Police respond to a shooting at an apartment complex, just a few doors down from Uniquia Teal's home. When police saw the Ring doorbell, they began pounding on the door, waking up the family at 3:30 in the morning.
We can't answer the door right now, but if you'd like to leave a message, you can do it now.
Incident occurred up here, and we were seeing if we could see it in the Ring camera, if you could see like the suspect. Do you have access?
All right, as we heard the narrator state, this is a whole year later. All right, but we're leading up to something. We're getting somewhere or solving a point here. But the same police department, same county, there in Greensville, North Carolina, but this is a whole separate incident from what we just witnessed with the guy at McDonald's, who is fighting for his justification and his appeal to come through to be vindicated. All right, so this is a separate incident with the same goons. All right, we're dialoguing and we're fact checking a pattern. All right, we're showing character here and the type of people who is really out here trusted to protect and serve. All right, so we're gonna go ahead, continuing on this content, and I appreciate your support and smashing that like button as you enter into the building and continue to support the channel.
The Ring camera?
My job, it's really dead. It's not, it's dead.
What do you mean it's dead? It's working?
It's dead.
What?
My Ring camera is dead.
Okay. Well, it's working, so I don't think it's on 10%. That's cool, though. Oh, yeah. Yes.
Eventually, after threatening to keep her up all night and threatening to steal her camera, the officers entered her home without a warrant, without consent, and without exigent circumstances because she was, quote, not cooperating.
Hi. Hey, I got a baby, so can y'all please? I'm gonna keep you up all night. How you gonna rip my stuff and I have nothing to do with it?
We can't answer the door right now, but if you'd like to leave a message, you can do it now.
On your back. You're now being detained because you're not cooperating with an investigation. Oh my God, my baby is in there. Stop. You had an opportunity, and this is where we're at. You're delaying my investigation. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. You had the opportunity to just pull up your phone and show me that it didn't work. How can it be so? You didn't ask for that. I did. You never asked.
I heard it up on the staircase, and I heard it over there. I heard her ask you.
Sir, she did not ask me to go pull my phone. Yes, you could pull it up. That's what.
And what'd you say? You said I'm not doing that.
No, I did not. I said it's dead, which it is dead. It's been dead since this morning.
It's recording us right now.
It's not recording. I promise you. My phone is in my bedroom.
There's like a 5-year-old girl that almost died right there, and you're gonna act like this, like you
know
don't
what's going on, but I'm asleep. It's 3 in the morning. I gotta go to work at 6 in the morning.
Well, here's what's going on.
You're gonna be up until 6. I guarantee you. Hey, it's not recording. Okay, have a good night. I'm sorry I woke you up.
When the officers entered without her permission, they handcuffed Miss Teal inside her home, retrieved her phone from her bedroom, and held it to her face to unlock it before searching the phone for the Ring footage. During this encounter, they left her 1-year-old alone in her bedroom. As Teal had told them, it had not been working, and police found no useful footage of the incident. The Greenville Police Department has opened an internal affairs investigation and placed the primary officer on administrative leave, Miss Jennifer Umflat. The biggest issue is obvious.
So we got right here this same goon, coon, pig on demon time. They had no legal grounds to go inside the lady's house. You got a call because people heard shots, but they didn't have a witness. There was no eyewitness of who did the shots or where they was coming from. You didn't catch anything on her Ring door camera, who was doing it per se, right? So you didn't have a warrant to go up in that lady's house, period. Okay, you're saying she's impeding your investigation, but she didn't have to answer her door. She didn't have to speak to you, period. Do your job and investigate and solve and complete, the case. Who's out there actually shooting at 3 o'clock in the morning? So we just heard the narrator say that there was an administration leave that took place, but we just saw foul violation behavior back to back on how they just completely show corruption and violated this lady's rights.
The home obviously receives the Fourth Amendment's strongest protections. A non-consensual entry ordinarily requires a warrant unless police can establish a recognized exception, such as emergency aid or exigent circumstances. In fact, the Greenville Police Department's own policy says residential consent searches must be voluntary and documented on a consent form.
Oh, wow. So there in their state, residential consentment must be voluntary and documented. So in other words, you have to have their permission. So if this lady did not give you permission to come into her home or her place of residence, you're in violation. You're in the wrong. You're in error. But as officers, people, we know that they know these things. They don't care. They think they're above the law. They're not respecting the law, honoring the law, being loyal and dedicated and committed to enforcing that law. They don't even respect the citizens and the people. They don't care. They just think that badge is a leeway to do what they want to do. And as a matter of fact, their behavior is they're above the law. So we're showing this same pattern of this lady out here unhinged, on a warpath, out of control, and needs to be terminated. She needs to be charged, convicted, and terminated. All right? So continue to share your thoughts.
Once consent is revoked or limited, the search must stop unless a warrant is obtained. A shooting is obviously an issue, but the fact that it happened at another apartment does not automatically authorize entry into every single neighboring residence.
Oh, so I missed that part. We missed that part. Okay, my bad on me. The shooting took place at a different complex. It wasn't even there at her apartment or on the premises. So the question would remain, why are you there? If somebody got the busing somewhere else across the way, up the corner, down the street, what you at my door for? You're doing an investigation, but if the crime happened somewhere else, why are you here? Why are we not at where it actually happened, trying to gather up leads and eyewitnesses? So they just way off. I mean, you are completely out of compliance and out of line because you're not even doing your job right. There is no order and control, and you're out here doing what you want to do. All right. So what do you see, people? We'll continue to do our commentary.
In the Fourth Circuit case, United States v. Curry, officers on scene of a shooting unlawfully detained a man for simply walking by the scene without first having any individualized suspicion. The court warned that emergency powers must remain narrowly targeted. And while this case is not identical, it is still undercut by the idea that nearby gunfire creates unlimited search or detention authority. Furthermore, North Carolina's resisting statute requires willful and unlawful interference with an officer who is discharging an official duty. In my opinion, the officers sealed the lawsuit when they claimed you're detained because you're not cooperating. Because it isn't a legal justification. In fact, it's an individual right.
And their definition of cooperating is do what they say. But it's a setup, people. Trust and believe me. Every time you call yourself cooperating, you're incriminating yourself. This is why it's important to know your laws to protect your rights. Because they're going to use that, incriminating yourself legally to meet quota and to do what they're out there for, or their assignment or their mission, and that's to arrest. People don't realize, but they have to meet quote every so many a year, and their quota is arrests. They have to make so many arrests a year to even stay on the squad, to even stay in the department. So it's just like sales. For example, something I can relate to. You have to meet quota. You have to make so many, produce so many sales a quarter, or it could be not accomplishing your task or performing your task, which is what your job, what you're there to earn your wages to do. So same thing, same thing. They're there to meet quota. That's what it's all about. It's not about standing for what's right and doing the right thing. So we clearly see. Please don't incriminate yourself, people. Don't fall for the trick. They'll set you up for the kill. Do not fall for it. And you are not required to do what they want you to do or what they say. You're an adult. You have choices and you have rights. Use them and make your own decisions to do what's best for you and protect yourself and your family. And that is even against law enforcement because at the end of the day, they're not your friend. They're there to hurt and do harm. They're there to, as we see these corrupt officers, and I do videos back to back to back all the time. This is my niche. They're there to fulfill their own selfish needs, their own selfish reasons, and that's to attack, violate, and arrest. All right, these are the corrupt officers that was shining the light on tonight.
Being detained because you're not cooperating with an investigation. Oh my God, my baby is in there. Stop. You had an opportunity, and this is where we're at. You're delaying my investigation.
There goes that cookie. Das Jenny Fuhrer Umflet. Dum 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 dum.
But perhaps the most egregious action, other than knocking on the door at 3:30 in the morning in the first place, and then entering the home unlawfully, is searching and using her face to unlock her phone while she was handcuffed. Even if this was a lawful arrest, the police need a warrant before searching the digital contents of a phone. Now again, exigent circumstances remain possible, but they still require more than a generalized concern that evidence might disappear. Now, of course, the Greenville Police has a policy that expressly requires employees to intervene when they observe an unprofessional confrontation or policy or legal violation, and that policy applies regardless of rank. So not a single officer on scene should walk from this encounter. But of course, we've seen this happen time and time again, and we all kind of know what's about to happen. My prediction is that none of the officers will be reprimanded, a lawsuit will be filed, and the taxpayers will be the only ones to pay for the crimes of the officers. Let me know what you think.
All right, people. So as we know and as we learn, they're not your friend. They're not there to help. They are there to complete an assignment. And as we continue to grow, and as we continue to shine and shed the light and rise above the occasion to overcome police brutality, law corruption, and unlawful violation. And we're here to shed that light, empowerment, and continue to grow and learn as we speak truth to power. I'm your host. Thank you here for joining me at School for Justice, where we live, love, and laugh. And until next time, fam, catch you on the next one. Peace.